got some information for you. FEMA has been gracious enough to lend 3, 4, we're getting more and more people coming in of their top experts to help us figure out how to get assistance to you if you've been affected by the wildfires. And I was sharing with our guests that you would be surprised how many people really still don't know, if they can actually apply for FEMA or what FEMA is. So because they don't know that they are eligible. Please help me welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We have Michael Hart, who is the FEMA spokesperson. Thank you so much for being here and answering the call.
Thank you so much.
Danielle Hill, she's the Individual Assistance Program representative.
Thank you so much.
A little bit later on, we're going to have with us Anita Steenson. She is the Small Business Administration Public Information Officer for those of you that have businesses that you're trying to get back up and going or trying to figure out, how you're going to keep that going. We're going to have so much information for you today. I shared that you need to have your pencil and paper together so you can use this information or share this with someone that you may know or you may meet because it is so important. FEMA stands for
Federal Emergency Management Agency.
Established in 1979 by our beloved
Jimmy Carter.
Amen. Jimmy Carter. You guys have 20,000 employees. That's a lot.
A lot of people.
Yeah. And you carry the burden of when a disaster breaks out in our nation, you guys are there.
Once that major disaster declaration is approved by the president, that opens up the doors for FEMA to begin providing federal assistance to families, individuals, communities in the disaster response, and certainly as the months and years go on for the disaster recovery.
So many people, they hear FEMA, but they don't know that they can qualify for it. They don't know that, this is the time when you really need to jump in and get that application in. The process can seem daunting, especially when you're just dealing with something as major as these wildfires. But you have to do it quickly, right?
They have time to do it. Right now, the deadline is March 10th, but they need to get registered immediately if they have not done so already. But really, the first thing that they need to do, if they were affected by the wildfires in any way, contact their insurance company. Do that first, and then the next thing they should do is contact FEMA. They can do that in one of several ways. They can dial the 800 number. That number is 800-621-3362. They can visit disasterassistance.gov. They can register after downloading the FEMA app. But we also have 2 disaster recovery centers open right now. Let me look up the addresses. One is at the corner of Pico Boulevard and Westwood, and the address is 10850 Pico Boulevard. Then we have another one on the Pasadena City College campus, and that address is 3035 East Foothill Boulevard. Both of these facilities are open right now, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day, 7 days a week.
Wow.
Now, it's not just FEMA in those facilities. We have SBA specialists. We have agencies, local agencies, county agencies in there, social services, DMV. There's an agency in there helping people get employment again. So it's really a
one-stop shop.
It's one-stop shop, and it's an example of the whole of community response and recovery. It's not just a FEMA response, it's a whole community response.
Because when you think about FEMA, you think, we're getting our property and things like that, but you hadn't thought about, I got to get a driver's license. I lost my birth certificate. I lost all this information, and where do I start? And this is a great place to start. 2 locations, 2 recovery assistance centers. Family, you know where they are. UCLA Research Park West, Pasadena City College, right there at the Education Center. 7 days a week.
7 days a week.
7 days a week. 7 days a week. Okay, so we contact our insurance company. What do we get from our insurance? What do we do? How do we go? What do we get from them before we go to FEMA.gov or?
You can register with FEMA in conjunction with that. But the grants that you're eligible to receive won't come from FEMA until we have some type of documentation of what your insurance company is going to provide. What FEMA is going to do is supplement that.
Is that the declaration letter we hear so much about?
The designation letter, the declaration letter from your insurance company.
Okay. And then we go to the process.
That will open the gate up to begin receiving whatever grant from FEMA that the individual is eligible to receive.
Okay. We hit the road running. As soon as you guys opened up the lines, I got a lot of people jumping in my DMs. They were saying, hey, I got denied. What does that mean when they get those denial letters? I've been sharing, I've been following you, Michael, with all this information as much as possible. But I've been telling them, read that letter. It's not exactly what they think, right?
It's a letter stating that they're not approved at this time. In that letter, it will have what is required for them to have their application process move forward. It could be something as simple as an address misplaced or incorrect, social security number not correct. It could be something just as simple as that. Or it may be, we don't have the settlement letter. My friend Danielle just gave me the right term for
Miss
that.
Danielle.
Appreciate that.
Just so people understand exactly the terminology that that insurance provider would give. It's the settlement or denial letter.
Okay.
That's what you're really trying to get into once you've finalized your work with your insurance company.
Thank you so much, Danielle Hill. She's with the Individual Assistance Program. She's the representative there. So when you guys are looking at these applications and you're going through them and everything, how do we know where we are in the process? Like, how do we keep up with what do we need, and how quickly will we get money when we're in desperate need?
Great question. The best thing I can recommend, keep in contact with our helpline if you like speaking to someone, or we have a disaster assistance account where you can set up an account that's individual to your registration, and you can check it anytime you would like. Updates about what's happening with the file, the status of any determinations that have been made, all can be found within that application and that account. And you can even upload information that we've requested directly onto that account from there.
I like it. I had to take a look for myself to look at it. And you can actually get alerts sent to your phone. When they need something from you, they are really trying to get in touch with you. FEMA, they want to get the assistance to you. So don't give up. Just stay in touch with them and just keep looking. Just keep looking around the clock. We got more questions from some of our listeners. We were talking about GoFundMe. I was trying to share with them. A lot of people were asking about those. We see a lot of those GoFundMe accounts set up for residents to try to quickly get information. But there could be a conflict of some sort when it comes to FEMA.
Yes, because the grant program itself does have limitations as to duplication of benefits. If there are specific GoFundMe accounts that are specifically providing assistance for that, for example, the example I give is for to replace a damaged vehicle. There might be a GoFundMe that's set up specifically to replace someone's car. And if we then identify that this is something that person might be eligible for, we then have to take into account that those funds were received for that purpose.
Gotcha. Okay, so if you're just tuning in, we're speaking with Mr. Michael Hart with FEMA. He's a FEMA spokesperson, as well as Danielle Hill, who's helping with our individual assistance program. She's one of the representatives that's getting information out. If you have a small business, we've got information for you as well. The Small Business Administration will be available for you. All kinds of questions. Give us a call at 520-KJLH, and we'll share that with the rest of the family. The process can seem daunting, family, but do not give up. This is our road to recovery. This is how we rebuild. There are funds that are available for you. There's a process to it, though. There's a process. Just don't give up. And we're going to share more information with you, how long it might take, what you need to make sure that you keep when you're having to foot the bill for yourself right now, as far as those receipts, keeping up with that. And then 5 things you should know when it comes to FEMA. We've got all that and more, all right? So stick around. Stay right here. It's Adai Lamar with all of FEMA information you need with your station. It's Radio Free, 102.3 KJLH. Well, I tell you what, Shirley, we're loving on Los Angeles, trying to get information to those affected by the wildfires. So much information coming at you at one time. You don't know what is what. You have so much on your mind, trying to reestablish, get to safety, find shelter, make sure you have money for the essentials. FEMA has been on the spot, ready to assist you. And we have with us a spokesperson from FEMA, Mr. Michael Hart. Thank you so much for being here. Danielle Hill, she works with the Individual Assistance Program. And along with Anita Steenson, she's going to be joining us a little bit later on from the Small Business Administration. She's the Public Information Officer for those of you who had businesses and you're trying to get reestablished and figure out what you're going to do next. We've been sharing information about FEMA. The main thing you guys have been really stressing is
Registration.
Register. A lot of people not sure, if what they qualify for, if they qualify for anything. Let them do the hard work. Let them figure all of that out. You just need the simple information.
Simple, basic information. Get the registration in the door before the deadline ends as of right now.
And the deadline is?
March 10th.
March 10th. Any way that may be extended? Do you think it might sometimes maybe circumstances?
Don't really want to speculate on that. What we want people to do is register right now.
Register. Get registered now. You were saying policy numbers. Everybody's thinking like, oh, I need my insurance policy number. What did I do? They don't need that.
You just need to know what type of insurance you have.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a homeowner's insurance policy? Is a vehicle comprehensive insurance policy or liability only insurance policy? What it is, and if you happen to know the name of the company, extra. But you just need to know that you have it. That's it for the registration.
Get registered. After registration, what do I need to do? Do I need to keep receipts? That kind of thing. What does that look like?
Well, after registration with our program, you'll be provided a sample of what the information is you shared with us. And then you'll be contacted by either a form of our letter letting you know what are the next steps, or you'll be reached out, one of our inspectors will actually reach out to you and let you know what next steps you'll have with them. But either way, we'll communicate with you to let you know what are those next steps, and you can focus your attention on other things, but your registration is in the door. That's the key thing.
A lot of people think this is just about property. They think it's just about their business or their structure or their car, but there's other assistance that's available through FEMA as well.
Yes, we have quite a lot of assistance towards personal property loss, towards incurred expenses. Someone might have been injured or have had medical or dental expenses. We have a lot of different programs that are offered within our grant program, but they're all tied to the registration and then potentially providing additional information as to what are the specifics. But if you can't do that until you register.
Okay, now people want to know if they qualify. Should they register? When you say affected by the wildfires, what does affected really mean?
When I say affected, I mean if you have had any type of impact from this disaster, take the opportunity and complete a registration. It should take only about 20, 30 minutes tops, and sometimes if you go into one of our sites, it might be even shorter. Okay?
So when you say affected, let's say you just fill out the application and you're not sure exactly what that means. Should they still just fill out the application and let you tell me whether or not
Absolutely.
Okay.
We will ask questions about how you potentially might be affected, and there are questions that are connected to the types of assistance our grant program provides. So at that point, let us determine how you can how we can benefit or provide services to you once we know what you have.
When you say grant, we know grant means we don't have to pay it back, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
This is grant. The FEMA grant program is a non-repay back process.
Now, the $770 that President Biden has talked about, this one-time payment, how do we apply for that? Is that through you guys as well?
You register.
Register.
Yes.
Everything is tied to FEMA.gov.
Yes.
All right, get registered for that. And then if you register and you get that denial letter, don't just stop. Don't just say, oh, I didn't get it, right?
Please don't stop at the first sentence. Please continue to read that letter and find out what are the specifics behind why you are not eligible at this time. The key thing is at this time. time for that specific determination. I've just talked about how we have a lot of different programs under our grant process. So there might be an actual determination of eligibility that was made for one specific category. So read the letter, find out exactly what we're asking for potentially, or how you can appeal a decision that you might have additional information for.
When we say individual, so when we're thinking, I have a family of 5, I have a family of 6, do I still get registered with this program? Still with this program, right?
Yes, it's the individual household.
Okay.
Okay, so
that means individual household, not individual person.
Correct.
Individual household. Got that.
We want a registration for the household that will identify how many people in that household need to be assisted. Okay.
Now, we've been talking a lot about grants. What about loans? Does FEMA handle loans, or is that not?
No, we don't. That is our gracious recovery partner with SBA that handles all the disaster loans.
We're going to be chatting with her a little bit later on. Anita Steenson, she's with the Small Business Administration, and we're so excited that she's going to join us because she's got a lot of information about those that have businesses, those that feel like, oh my gosh, I've got to start completely over. Building this back up, not just my business, but my home. You got everything tied. That livelihood is tied to all of that. And the Small Business Administration is absolutely amazing in what they're doing for you. We're going to chat with her a little bit later on. The key things we're hearing, family, is
register.
Registration.
Got to do it.
I would like to add one point as we wait for Anita with SBA. You mentioned that they offer business loans. They have home and personal property loans also. Okay, so that's a way of supplementing that recovery need, not just through the grant program, but also through truly our recovery partner.
Now, something that a lot of people have been asking me, like, okay, I sign up, I register. What can you give us an estimate of how long it is before we can get assistance, even the $770? You know, like, what do you think the process time could be? What are we looking at?
Usually, depending on if the banking information is corrected, but if everything is right in line the way it should be, it could take 2 to 3 days.
Really?
We can get that $770 to individuals pretty quickly.
Yeah.
While their registration process continues. And that money can be used for whatever they need right now. That's why we call it serious needs assistance. Money for medication. Maybe you need some funds to take care of your toddler or your infant.
Yes.
You know, things like that. Food, water.
I love it. Disasterassistance.gov, FEMA.gov, the number 800-621-3362.
That's correct. Or download the FEMA app.
Yes, that app it's very, very, very useful. All right, family, we still have more information coming your way. We don't want you to miss out on one thing. Grab this information because you, or perhaps a loved one or someone you meet in the street, because right now I'm telling you, California has come together. I don't care how you voted or what you did. When we need each other, you guys have seen us come together. Yes. Michael, you're from D.C.
Yes.
Look, I know you've seen. You guys are over so much, and we just appreciate you coming to California and doing what you do. We know we're not the only ones going through it right now, but our family, our people, we need you. We got folks in the Palisades. We got folks in Altadena, these fires. Thank you all for being here. It's not over, family. We got more information coming, so keep it locked right here. It's your station, Radio Free, 102.3 KJLH. Thank you so much, Tommy. So much to be thankful for. We are in some trying times here. Our Californians, especially our Southern California people that are really dealing with the effects of these wildfires. Our family that live abroad in other parts of California, they're just as worried for us. Perhaps they've taken in family, or they're trying to make sure that their family is okay. I'm telling you, we will recover, we will rebuild. But in the meantime, though, we've got to get just stable. You know what I mean? Just like take a breath so we can think about what we need to do. And that's why FEMA is so important in the process. And we have 3 wonderful individuals here that's sharing with us, and we thank them so very, very much. 4, actually. She's on the sidelines. She's throwing in information. We've got Brandy Richard Thompson. She's over there with great info. She's dropping those jewels, too. We've got Michael Hart, who I've seen on television. I had to hunt him down. I was like, we need him in for our listeners. Thank you for being here, Michael.
Certainly appreciate it.
He's a FEMA spokesperson along with Danielle Hill. She's with the Individual Assistance Program. Let me tell you, when you say individual, and I'm so glad you said this, Danielle, when you said individual, sometimes we think just self, like, oh, I got to do one for me. I got to do for my child. I got to do one for my grandmother. But individual means family. It's the family. So one individual speaking for the family. And in that application, you'll ask about who all is in that family. We've got Anita Steenson. She's on her way with the Small Business Administration. So many people trying to figure out how they're going to continue with their livelihood. That's their business. That was how they feed their family, how they're going to be able to get back started with that. And she's got a lot of wonderful resources. We were chatting. You guys, we've been hearing about all the get registered, but there's this transitional sheltering assistance that we're hearing about. What is that exactly, Michael?
Danielle.
Yes, this is a sheltering program that is going to allow survivors who registered and are eligible access to hotel, motel, lodging situations that are paid for by FEMA. So
wow.
FEMA's gonna reach out to them, let them know that they can go look for a local hotel, motel, lodging situation that is participating in that program, provide ID, and go ahead and check in for that temporary sheltering while they try to identify for future long-term and potentially short-term intermediate places.
Okay, now I'm listening to this. This is another program. Michael, do we have to keep applying?
No. You do not have to continue to apply for that. And then the other thing to keep in mind with that is FEMA's going to reach out to them. They don't have to worry about reaching out, figuring out if they're eligible. FEMA will determine their eligibility and reach out to them to get in contact with them.
That's amazing because while you're trying to figure out how you're going to get set and get your family taken care of, you're seeing these different stuff coming out. Well, do we apply for this? Are we good for this? Should I let them know? So you guys are going to reach out to us.
Exactly.
So to those of us that have been affected. Okay, so.
That's the great thing about the registration. It allows that person to be considered for anything possible that they are potentially eligible for through that one registration process.
Whether we know it or not, yes. we could be one step away from getting more assistance. GoFundMe has our family very, very concerned. We've been getting calls, taking those. They want you to explain the GoFundMe conflict, I guess that's the right word to say, or how that could change your eligibility or maybe some assistance that you may be applying for FEMA. So many families in desperate need. And families were just trying to get out and just get something started for their family. They don't want to be the reason why they didn't get certain assistance. So they're concerned. They really are concerned. Can you explain that a little bit more for us about how it works?
Well, the most important thing I want people to focus on is getting the registration in, letting us determine what someone is eligible for based on our assessment of the property and the contents that were lost. Because we provide basic need assistance. We don't expect survivors to be able to return to their pre-disaster lifestyle with this grant program. Mm-hmm. That's not realistic. Mm-hmm. So in the cases of situations where someone might have received a donation, we're looking to show that everything that you receive from us is going to be based on what we identify as being damaged. And then if you let us know that there's information where you've received something specific to something that we have provided assistance on, we will potentially look at whether or not there is a duplication there. But I don't want people to worry.
Yeah, don't be worried.
And stop halting the recovery process at home.
Right.
Get the registration in. Let us go through our process of just verifying the losses that have affected the family, and they can continue to move forward because there's going to be a whole community effort to try to help the survivors that have been affected by this disaster. So please don't stop what you're doing. Just remember that we are going to provide assistance based on what we've identified are under our program guidelines and have been affected by the disaster that don't allow you to live in that space where you were previously living.
So don't worry. You did do a wonderful thing for your family or your loved one by creating that. You needed assistance. You jumped into action. And that's what we needed. We needed everybody to do their efforts so everybody could come together. So don't feel bad about starting the GoFundMe. It's not going to hinder them to the point where they won't get assistance by FEMA. But we were talking that this is a grant, and I was asking you if this could assist with business owners or maybe loans of some sort. You guys don't do loans, but you do assist those entrepreneurs that lost, right? To some degree.
Yes, our program was reformed last year, and there were a lot of changes that this survivors of this disaster have a chance to benefit from. And that is your small business, self-employed folks who potentially have personal items that they use for their job and that are essential for them to be able to continue doing that job. The grant program has the ability to provide some basic assistance toward it. Now, mind you, I want to keep stressing the program is for basic it has basic limitations on
so
what
we have to have
do.
honest expectations.
Honest expectations as to what the limits are with the program.
Yeah.
We do have maximums within our two categories, and that's housing and other needs assistance that have to be complied with. But there is potential help that can contribute towards the replacement of lost items for your self-employed folks.
So if I'm a photographer and I lost some major equipment, I mean, I lost thousands and thousands of dollars of cameras, equipment, and stuff like that, I can get assistance, but we're not going to get maybe the high dollar things that I had before, but then we can kind of get me back where I can go out and to do some kind of work with some kind of camera.
Think of it as, like I said, a whole community aspect of it. They might be eligible for some assistance to supplement other ways of that they might have.
Okay.
So apply for everything.
Yeah.
Under that registration, submit documentation to show what is lost.
Apply. Yes. Get registered. That's the main thing that we're pushing to you.
Number
Let
one.
them decide and tell you what you are eligible for and are not. All right? So get applied, get your application in, and once again, give them the information on how we can get registered, right?
Several ways. 1-800-621-3362. Visit disasterassistance.gov, download the FEMA app, register there, or they can visit one of these two disaster recovery centers. Got to put my glasses on.
Do what you got to do, brother.
First one, 10850 Pico Boulevard. That's at the intersection of Pico Boulevard and Westwood. And then the other one is on the Pasadena City College campus or property. And that address is 3035 East Foothill Boulevard.
Absolutely.
Both of these facilities open 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week.
We love it. UCLA Research Park, that's the first one, guys. They're west. And then Pasadena City College, the Education Center, if you're familiar with these, write it down, 9 to 8 p.m. Now, people can call in, too. And sometimes people are leery about giving their information over the phone or whatever. Which is better? You know, people are going to always ask me, what should I do first? Should they go on the phone or come see someone in person? Which is better?
That's a good question. It depends on the individual. Are you somebody who would prefer to speak one-on-one, face-to-face with somebody? Go to the recovery center. If you're savvy online, get on disasterassistance.gov. If you're on your phone swiping left, right, up, and down all day long, download the FEMA app.
Yes.
Do it that way.
The
or
main thing
just call somebody at the 800 number, 621-3362.
And the one thing I do want to stress with that, when you're dealing with any type of in-person interaction with FEMA, please have the it is going to, at this time, patience is going to be required. There potentially might be wait to speak to someone in person, but we definitely want to be there to provide guidance explain the program and answer any questions.
All righty. We're going to take a quick break here. We're trying to get Anita Steenson, Small Business Administration Public Information Officer. We're going to get her on the line if we can't get her in studio, because we need this information for those that are really trying to figure out their business. We'll come back with more information from FEMA. We're on our road to recovery, family. It's Adai Lamar at Radio Free 102.3 KJLH. Family, God has us covered, rebuilding, and we're going to be stronger than ever, Los Angeles. We're going to be stronger than ever. These fires will not defeat us. Palisades, Eaton, all the others that we've had to deal with, this will not defeat us. FEMA has stepped in to really be a great assistance to so many of us, and we're excited that they're here to share more and more information. We've been talking about individual homes. We've been talking about people with their needs they have immediately after being involved in these fires. But those of you that had businesses, you lost your business, you don't know how you're going to be able to start over again. Where are you going to get the money? There is the Small Business Administration, and they have opened up application processes for you. We are so proud that Anita Steenson is with us this morning. She's the Public Information Officer for that organization. Thank you so much for being with us, Anita.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to share with your listeners how they can recover. So initially, I wanted to just add that most people are unaware that the Small Business Administration has resources for homeowners and renters in addition to our traditional businesses and nonprofits during disasters. Yes, we have up to $500,000 that homeowners can access, having nothing to do with businesses, to assist in their recovery. So that's something we really appreciate people getting information about, and that's why this is so important for us to get the message out about. We are FEMA resource partners. So that's a wonderful thing that we appreciate you helping us do. And that's something that I'm sure you were not aware of, isn't that right?
We were not. Now, this is a loan, though, this is not a grant, though. This is a loan.
That's
okay.
Right. But they
go a long way. Yes.
These are trauma-designed loans. And in addition to the $500,000, we also offer an additional $100,000 for homeowners and renters to access to help them replace their personal property. So, and when I say low interest, we're talking about as low as 2.563 interest, fixed for 30 years. And
that goes a long way. Anita, that goes a long way.
It does. And the best part about that is we're talking fixed for 30 years, and there's no payments, and interest does not accrue for the first year. So we are really, really thinking about our people and how they can recover. So that gives people time to apply for grants, apply for their insurance, gives them time to sort out what they're eligible for. There's no prepayment penalty. So hopefully in that year's time, maybe they're going to get their, resources taken care of, and they will not need all of that.
But it's available.
And that's our pleasure to do. Exactly. So we hope everybody applies. There's no cost to apply. There's no appraisal. It's an expedited process. They can go to sba.gov/disaster. Our businesses, which you specifically asked about, they're eligible for up to $2 million. And that's to assist them with not only the physical damage, but also economic injury. Now, this is another important aspect of recovery. SBA also provides for an additional 20% of whatever physical damages homeowners or businesses have suffered to go towards mitigation. that's so important, especially in a disaster like this,
Yeah.
where people may need to rebuild with fire retardant materials, really whatever kind of mitigation, sprinkler systems, whatever they feel they may need to be more preventative in the future. That can be significant. That's an additional, if you're maxing out at the homeowners, that's an additional $100,000. If you're a business and you need the whole $2 million, you got to help me with the math on that.
Let me tell you, any bit helps, and that will definitely go a long way. Miss Anita, please tell us how, again, because this is two different registrations, right? That we've been saying to get registered with FEMA, but this is a different registration altogether. You may be registered with FEMA, but this does not automatically register your business. Again, that's sba.gov/disaster. That's right.
Correct.
Is there a phone number for those that may want to call in?
Well, we strongly recommend that you go online, or the good news is, and I'm sure my partner there, Michael, talked about our disaster recovery and resource centers.
Yes.
We're there.
Mm-hmm.
It can be one-stop shopping. And we encourage everybody to apply online first. This way, if they have any problems or glitches, our amazing customer service representatives who are there in person can help guide people through whatever they may encounter. I can go ahead and forward you a link with the details, that people need. And
Yes.
Just so you know, for businesses, the interest rate is as low as 4%, and for our nonprofits, it's 3.625. And again, there's no downside in applying.
We love
because
that.
there's no cost. There's no cost involved. And what's the worst that can happen?
We appreciate you, Anita. Thank you so much. I'll tell you what, we are opening our KJLH doors to you guys whenever things, because we know information changes all the time, and there's updates and there are things like that. So our doors are open to you all to come back. Thank you so much for being here. The main thing we want to tell people to is register. Register, family. We're getting ready to close out the Steve Harvey Morning Show this morning. It's the road to recovery. Restore, rebuilding. We're going to do that, family. Stronger together we are. It's Adai Lamar here signing off for the Steve Harvey Morning Show. We got Llama Q coming up next right here. It's your station, Radio Free 102.3 KJLH.